Well, did you get it? This is the moment. Right now, this moment right here, to be more than you ever thought you could be. Now, this is it. Now, here we are, second week in March, and Easter's early this year. Have you noticed? I mean, the choir certainly has, but as they've been preparing diligently, but end of this year, it's early. And it's time for us, no matter what your upbringing was, faith-wise, tradition-wise, to learn from the Easter story. I do believe that Jesus is one of the greatest teachers, if not the greatest teacher of all time, and he had so much to teach us. And the Easter story teaches us truly about our life, that we are on an evolutionary journey. And when we're complete here, our soul moves on. What a message it is for all of us that, wow, how precious this life is. This human experience, and probably all of our experiences, our vibrational experiences, that we move up this evolutionary ladder. It's an upward ladder, a spiral ladder of evolution, as Ernest Holmes calls it. But as we move on that, we learn by experience. Have you noticed? Of course. We learn and we grow, and there are no quick fixes. We hope there are, but we're learning as we're going and growing together, and that's what the Easter story tells us. But it tells us even more. There's angels infused in the Easter story, guiding and directing the path. They're there for us. So as we're on this evolutionary journey of awakening, of evolving, of growing into our oneness, as we're going home, but home isn't a place out there. Home is a place here, where we feel at one with life, where we feel whole and complete in ourselves and with each other. And that's the journey we're on, and we forget that we have help. I mean, we're all evolving. Some go a lot faster than others. You're supposed to laugh about that. Because I'm sure we're thinking of someone else that's not evolving as fast as we'd really like them to evolve, you know. But we forget we have help. Now, for about 150 years, we've excommunicated angels. I mean, in ancient times, everybody knew that there were beings of light, that there were experiences way beyond what we could perceive, much less believe or understand. They knew it. They got it. And the faith traditions talk about these otherworldly beings that come to our aid when we need it. And there's a place in us that absolutely knows, if we take time to listen. There's something right here that knows there's more going on, and we are not alone. I think that gets to be the hardest thing when we forget that, and we think we're on this journey of life alone, and we forget that we have help every single moment. Because we can't see it, we forget to believe it, but it's there for us. So many of us have had angel experiences. How many of you have had angel experiences? Yeah, most people believe in angels, but it became very uncool to talk about them for a long time because we were into the technical world, the scientific world. We liked our knowledge and our information, right? We could go Google anything. Well, not anything, but we think we can. And we really deleted the help of the angels, but it's time right now to bring them back. We live at a time in the world where there's much social and ecological crisis going on. I can't say we have a world where man's inhumanity to man is any greater than it's been before. It's just we have a lot more people, so it seems greater. And we're here at this potent time in history to make great change. Are you ready to do it? Yes. Good, me too. So we're ready to do it. But first of all, it's remembering that we have help. Thank you, Cindy, for reading all the beautiful things the angels do. It's like the angels are the volunteers of the universe. Those of you that volunteer, know you show up. Sometimes you got to be asked, but you show up and you're told what to do. And that's what the angels are here to do. They're volunteers of the universe. Do you know how they evolve? They evolve by serving us. So if we're not asking or inviting in the angels, then we're not helping them or helping us. But I know you scientific types, and I talked last week about a new revolution that's come out, and it came out with this book called The Physics of Angels, where a major theologian and Catholic priest, or Episcopal priest, or priest, Matthew Fox, and a biologist and a quantum physicist, Rupert Sheldrake, got together, and they started comparing notes about the frequencies of the universe, the vibrations of light, the quantum fields, the magnetic fields of power. And they realized that the words of St. Thomas Aquinas and Albert Einstein were much the same. Religious science. That's our basis. And so they wrote a book about the physics of angels and how angels exist and how they're real and how it's time we bring them back, because we need to know we're not alone. Does anybody want to know how to do that? Yeah, me too. Of course. So let's talk about, okay, so how many of you think we could use a little help? Yeah, we all need help. So it's here. How do you and I tap into that field of energy to really call in a beautiful force to help us? Well, number one, you know how we hear that children are closer to angels than we are, the old folks. Just kidding. We're not the old folks. We're the young, evolving souls. We're just a little more wise. No, but the children don't have more angels than we do. They're just more open. So we simply need to open ourselves up. Today's topic is angels are watching over each and every one of us. They're watching over us right now. They're never gone. We can reject them. We can turn them away. They bring wisdom and help and guidance and protection. There are teachers. And you know what happens if you don't listen to your teacher? 20 years of that, I know what happens. But we need to listen. We need to be awake. We need to be open. And the first thing, my first suggestion for us, is recognize the beauty in your life. You start looking for the beauty in your life instead of what's wrong or not working or not going well. The beauty that's here right now. Not in some of our lives, in all of our lives. Just think for a minute. Where do you love to go? Just takes your breath away. And wonder, where is it? Is it the beach, the mountains, the snow, the sun, the valley? I don't know where it is. Your backyard. I don't know. Where do you just get opened and expanded? The awe. Because when we open in awe and wonder and beauty, we open to a higher frequency. Now, I don't care what you call this angelic realm, the beings of light or the magnetic field of power for good, but we open. And if we're going to touch that and be available to it, we've got to raise our frequency. We've got to raise ourselves up. So just think of the beauty in your life and feel how you just open, how you open to that. And the second way to really bring in more of this wisdom and light and love for ourselves and one another. Remember, as Cindy was reading so beautifully, that energy teaches us about love. It's a loving field of energy. It's a love. It teaches us to love ourselves and one another. It's the thread of connection. It also awakens us to our imagination, our intuition, our potential, our possibilities, our purpose. But it takes divine silence. So awe, beauty, divine silence. Now, I'm not talking about just sitting in that little chair with your mind racing around in circles. I'm talking about divine silence, where we listen. We learn to listen and be available to something more. Sacred silence is like a vacuum that just sucks in the angels and the wisdom and the light and the energy. It brings us to a higher place. It's a welcoming energy and attitude. And as I said before, when we get to that place and bring our frequency up, it's not enough. The angels are there That life is there for us and never against us. We know that. But we need to ask for what we want, and we need to be specific. It's like if we want to know where we're going, we've got to know where we're going. It's not just enough to say, oh, yeah, ask a spiritual helper. Help me. How can you help me right now in prosperity, love, creativity, clarity, completion, strength, power, overcoming my fears? Help me now. I need help. And then welcome it in. Be open and available. Beauty, silence, asking. And then, of course, we experienced this morning saying thank you. Thank you to yourself, to others, to life, to God, to goodness. Thank you. And we're there. Thank you. And so we talk about these beautiful beings of light, these messengers of God. I mean, what angels are doing is, as Ernest Holmes said, they're bringing God's thought to man. They're doing God's work here in this energetic field. And you and I need to recognize and be available to that. Did you know that angels evolve too? We're not the only ones that are evolved. We can't be that silly to think it's us, a few little angels, and then God. I mean, everybody's evolving. Everything's evolving and growing. And if you read in the faith traditions, there are the grand angels at the top of the scale, which are the seraphim. They're six-winged, made of light and fire. And they are said to sit at the throne of God, which we know just closest to the frequency of the oneness and wholeness and allness of life. And they don't really deal with much in the human realm. They're more on the universal scale of life. But as you go down the levels, the archangels and the angels have direct contact with human consciousness. And then the ones we experience. They don't have bodies. In fact, I was reading that angels are very androgynous. They have an equal amount of male and female energy, and we will see them when we see them in our dreams, or if they come to life for us, which they can take a human incarnation briefly if we need it, not for them, but if we need it, that we will see them in the package that we need, male, female, whatever it is. But they're there for us, and we don't want to miss that wisdom. We don't want to miss that light. Now, I know many of you said you'd had angel experiences. And I know that angels are here. They're not psychics. They can't predict the future and tell us what to do, but they can give us wisdom and guidance. And I know personally in our lives that I've had some direct experiences of the way that angels work so powerfully to guide and direct us. When our daughter Tara was 15 and she had her 15th birthday in June, she changed. She became much more introspective. She'd been a very social, busy young girl, and she became much more introspective. And that year when she went to teen camp, which is in August, which was her 5th teen camp, as Mario and our teens go to, I was a counselor then, or whatever they call the helpers then, I don't know now. But I'd been also that many times. And this particular year, instead of being the social butterfly she stayed in her cabin a lot and painted little ceramic angels. And one she painted had a little tear in its eye. And I remember she brought them home for her sister and her dad, and made one for me also. And when she got home, early August, about a week later, she took her favorite book, Messengers of Light. And Terry Lynn Taylor wrote this book, and she actually looks like that angel on the front. She's a beautiful being. I had a really big part in Kirk's and my unfoldment in the angel world in that realm. But she said to her sister, and this was her Bible, that she read this and worked in this, and she handed it to her sister, and I was there, and she said, Deanna, I think it's time for you to have this. I went, I wonder what that's all about. I wonder why she's doing that. But I think the most powerful thing for me was the night, August 18th, it was a Thursday night. Kirk was I think Tuesday or Thursday, he was at choir practice. And Tara and Deanna and their friends, we'd had a girls' day, and we'd gone school shopping and done some fun things, and went to the market, and Tara was going to make us dinner. And that night, we sat around the table with our girls and their friends, and Tara was delivering us burritos, and she handed me my plate, and she looked at me and she said, Mom, when you're finished with your work on this plane of existence, can you go at any time to do more important work elsewhere? Can you go at any time to do more important work elsewhere? And it wasn't a strange question because we had a lot of spiritual questions in our family, and I wasn't surprised. But I remember looking at her and wondering, yes, Tara, I definitely believe that. And that was her gift, because in the car, the girls that were in the car were at the table, and it was her gift to tell us that it was time for her to go. Didn't realize it then, but I knew she was having direct communication with the angels, guiding and directing her and giving her the wisdom and tools to share with us, so there'd be some peace and understanding at that time. They're there for us always. Always. We need to learn to work with that. When we realize that there's one great power in this universe that we all use, one great power, and the higher our frequency goes, the easier it is to open to that power. And you and I have the power to use a greater intelligence, a messenger that's a little wiser than we are, knows a little more. And when we can call that energy in times of difficulty and crisis, in times of joy and thankfulness, our lives can be a greater expression of good. I thought today, since we know that this angelic realm is the connector to wisdom and power and goodness, and the connector with each other, you see, at this time in history, boundaries are melting. We need to start focusing on different things. And instead of asking, or recognizing and noticing and focusing on differences, but asking, how are we alike? What do we have in common? What do we need to do to work together in this world for the common good? You see, technology and science will give us a lot of really good information. We have everything we need to help ourselves, except we need to get back to basics for one thing. We need to know what to do that is good and right and true. Because what's good and right and true for ourselves has to be good and right and true for the whole. So that's why we need to tap in to loving, positive energy. So take a moment right now. And I'm going to again invite you to unfold. And I don't care what you call the archangels, the angels, beings of light, fields of energy. It absolutely doesn't matter what you call it. Words don't matter here. Our words are power, of course, but not words that have to be a certain way or in a certain package. It's just being available, opening and being available to something more than we are in this moment. As we heard the song, One Moment in Time, that's it. To be more than we ever imagined we could be. When we set that clear intention, just allowing ourselves to open right now. Take a few nice deep breaths and relax. We're going to call in the archangels right now and recognize that the archangels are simply angels that are a little bit higher than the angel realm. The archangels are the leaders of the angels, a little higher frequency here. And let's start right now. And did I have Kirk here? Are you willing to play some tinkly little music to help call the angels in, babe? That would be so sweet of you. So let's start right now as we just open. As we call in the Archangel Uriel, the angel of God's light and fire. The colors are gold and purple. So just imagine the colors of gold and purple as they circle, unfold, embrace, fill you right now. The light and fire and passion of God as we open up, boom, and we allow ourself, any confusion to be dissolved, and clarity is here. The light is on. As we say, how right now in my life may I serve the greater good and live on my divine purpose? The connector. Weave the two, open and expand right now, knowing because I am here, because I am alive now, I matter, I make a difference, I count. And just letting the energy of the light and fire of God, the Archangel Uriel, just to surround you and fill you and vibrate through you as we call in the Archangel Gabriel, the angel of the strength of God. The colors are white and indigo. The strength of God to, boom, dissolve any fears, dissolve anything that keeps us limited and gives us the strength right now to say, what is my next step? Where am I to go? What am I to do? Give me the strength to be active, to be clear, to be focused, to have the strength within, to know I have everything I need right now to do God's work in, through, and as me right here in this moment. As this Archangel Uriel and the Archangel Gabriel and the Archangel Raphael, we invite in the healing power of God, the Archangel that holds the healing power of God. The colors are pink and green, and we allow that energy, the pink and green, to enfold us, to fill us, and to know that energy, that frequency awakens the divine physician within us to heal our bodies, our emotions, our minds, to heal us, to make us whole right now, to feel the oneness of life. How good it is. And as I invite the Archangel Michael in for each and every one of us, I'm going to just have us hold the Archangel Michael, who is the leader of the Archangel, who is the most like God, who holds truth and courage and protection, who is here for us and never against us, who is here to light that fire of wisdom, light, truth, courage within us, to protect us from any of the lower energies that keep us stuck in worry or doubt or fear or negativity, that we may be free. We may be free. And as we just breathe in for a moment and let all these energies and Archangel Michael, whose colors are blue and gold, fill you, I'm just going to invite the choir as they breathe in to just breathe in and then join me up on stage. As we allow the energy of all these frequencies, all these colors of purple and gold and white and indigo and pink and green and blue and gold to fill us and circulate and raise us up, to let our frequency be connected to oneness, and may our hearts and minds be healed from any thoughts of separation, to know we are home right now. We know that we belong right where we are, that we have here in this moment all that we could need to truly activate all our divine purpose, that we are here right now because we can and will have everything to truly be more than we ever imagined. And as we say within our hearts and minds, I am open, I am safe, I am home, I am free, I am available to the infinite good that is here right now. I simply recognize that home is right where I am. There's nowhere I need to go. It's what I need to be. I need to simply be an expression of the power and presence of God's clarity, God's strength, God's healing, God's love, that I can be a connector here, that I can use all the wisdom, all that's here for me, that I truly can be the light of truth and courage and strength. How good it is to be alive. How good it is to be home.